Welcome, everyone. It's the Mike Tech Show, show number 906. Tonight, stories from the trenches. We're changing device and operating system languages. I have a couple funny stories, one from today and one that made me think of something that happened a couple years ago. I spent a tremendous amount of time this week fixing a corrupt SQL database for a customer, and we're going to talk about that. Then I have a listener email removing Adobe AI from Adobe Reader, and then a Windows utility that was suggested by someone in the chat last week in Twitch, and then a program that was recommended from a comment on YouTube. So let's start things off, and let's begin with the language. So I get a call today, and it's from a church, and the secretary was in Word converting English to Spanish, and she accidentally did something that set the system to all Spanish. Now, I was on the phone, and that was just when I went on the phone, it was, I couldn't get to the call, so that had to go to voicemail. And as soon as that was done, then I was able to call her back, but she had just fixed it because she Googled the same thing I did. And that's something I'm going to show in a second. But this, and I have a great link that's going to help you. If anything in Microsoft, it's going to help you be able to navigate changing the language for different portions, whether it's the keyboard, whatever. I'm going to go over that. But it made me think of a story a few years ago, and I know I mentioned this on a show. My wife was having trouble printing to a Canon inkjet printer. And that was in my office, and all of a sudden she was like, "Oh my gosh, what happened?" It was all in Japanese. She accidentally changed the language for the display on the Canon printer to Japanese. Now, in order to get it back, you have to navigate Japanese in order to put it back to English. So I remember searching for that Canon model and how to do it. And do you know, it was very simple. I hit an article that this seems to happen a lot, and it had the Japanese symbols and letters on what to press to get it back to English. And I was able to set the printer, back to English. So I know if it's that easy to happen, that has to be happening for everybody. So that's what made me think, it's a little thing, but I'm going to spend a minute on it here. And right now I am displaying, and this will be the first link in the chat, the first link in the show notes, which is manage the input and display language settings in Windows. Nice little support article from Microsoft. And I really do like this, where you can click Windows 11 or Windows 10 and then navigate, let's go Windows 10 and change your display language. And you just open it up, and there you click start, then settings, time and language. So it's very simple. This is a nice little link to keep in your, keep this around for if you ever have to navigate to a portion of Windows or something that you have to deal with another language. So let's get to the next item, and give me a second here. Okay. So the next I want to talk about, yesterday, I spent 2.5 hours with tech support, and they were phenomenal. And this is the CCH Pro FX engagement software. And this is for my CPA. And we, one of the things that I have to do is updates, and they had a receptionist that was there forever and took care of doing the updates and everything for all the software that they use. And they have an older server, which we have yet to upgrade, and we're gonna have to upgrade this soon, I think. But here's what happened. Nobody could get into that software, and the software is to manage all types of engagements with work paper management, trial balance solution on the market that integrates with Pro System FX Tax and CCH Access Tax. So they use the FX Tax, and it's a whole process for the complete engagement with a client. So they live on this software, and nobody could get in. When it came up, it asked for the server where SQL's located, and guess what? I told them what the server name is, and it wasn't doing it. It was literally SRV01, and it would not connect, and it would come up and say, can't find it. And then when I went deeper into the message, and this was for everybody in the company, so I'm like, okay. So I get on with CCH, and the company is Walters Kluwer. I know I'm not pronouncing that right. It's Kluwer. And this is the software. And we got on, and with a lot of command line help and a lot of working out or trying different fixes, we discovered that there was a SQL database that was corrupt or damaged. And this leads into, well, hey, what backups do I have? Which was great. So one of the things I want to quickly discuss, since this server is a local on-prem domain controller, and they've been a client of mine for 5-6 years, I have Shadow Protect for server every night, doing an image once a week, and then the incremental for each night. So I have everything backed up, and I have an alert email that I get, so I'm on top of it. But not only that, I have Magnus Box for the server also backing up. So I have double backups. And the first thing I did yesterday morning was double check to make sure I had the backup. And of this little database, which it's interesting, it's not the core database of all of their information. So here's what really fixed it. And I'm so glad it was already installed on the server, because I inherited this server a few years ago. There's a SQL Server Management Studio. So I'm going to have a link to that in the show notes, and they call it SSMS. And this is where you open it up, and you can attach and reattach and drop databases. And boy, did we have to do that a dozen times as we were trying to figure out and trying to get the database. Now, we could have saved time had I been asked this KC Central Admin database that was corrupt. My client doesn't use it. We learned that afterwards. And we kind of had to make a decision. Even a restore from a previous backup and attaching that database did not fix this problem. So with not fixing it was really frustrating. So we decided to just blow the database away, reinstall the software, and let it create the new database. And that's what actually fixed the problem. And luckily, all the data was there, and I was able to get with the one partner that I was working with, and they were able to connect, and life is good. And there was 2.5 hours, and then 2 meetings that I had to cancel during that time. I rescheduled for today. One of them is changing the IVR for a phone system. And then another one, which I want to mention as one of the things that we're doing, is the domain transfer. I want to get back to something, and I forgot, I kind of wrote this down. The SQL Server Management Studio, it's a software application developed by Microsoft for managing, configuring, and administrating SQL Server databases. Anybody that is in the SQL world is probably familiar with this. It provides a graphical user interface and a set of tools for database developers and administrators to perform various tasks such as writing and executing SQL queries, designing and modifying database schemas, managing security settings, monitoring performance, and backing up and restoring databases. I am so glad I am not involved in a lot of that. Although I do have a bunch of SQL commands that I use for another client that uses IQMS as their ERP system for manufacturer. And there, every week, I have some SQL commands that I got to execute where I take the training database from the training, I drop the database from the training server and then copy from a backup from the night before of just the database and go a process of importing it. So this way, once a week, they have the latest, greatest data on the test database. So in case they have to do tests and any kind of performance, or someone maybe in accounting or something, they're trying something and they want to test it out, have them go to a test database first. That's the best thing. In any serious production environment, you got to have a training, and then you have to have a backup environment or development, and then the production environment. So I'm used to that from the corporate world, from big production implementations of ERP systems and software like PeopleSoft. I was involved in. Ooh, that brings back some interesting memories. So, the domain transfer. I think I talked about this during a migration where the user has A+ for their domain, and it was horrible waiting. Oh, that's right. It was a missing auto-discover record, and I had to get that auto-discover in there, but it took like almost 2 days for them to submit the change because they are not an ICANN registrar like GoDaddy is. So I talked to the owner, and we started the process today from transferring the domain from A+ to GoDaddy. Why GoDaddy? GoDaddy, for managing DNS, it's clean, it's fast, efficient. I only recommend using GoDaddy for managing your domain. Do I recommend them for hosting? No. Do I recommend them for email? No. So, but for managing the DNS, it's simple, it's easy, you're in full control. So we started the transfer of the domain where you have to unlock it where it currently is at. And then after you start the process on GoDaddy, then there's an authentication code. So we had to request the authentication code. We got that, which I was surprised we got that fairly quickly. I entered that, and now we're in a process of waiting. It's 5 to 7 days before that transfer will take place. So in the middle of 2 current email migrations going from SureWeb Exchange hosted to Microsoft 365. So I have a big one and a small one. A single user one, which I'm starting, that's going to be easy. The bigger one, we got 10 users, so that'll be, it's not going to be like that 50 user one I had, but it's enough. Keep us busy. All right. Now I want to talk about let me move this over to this screen, and I want to bring up, and hold on a second. I want to display. There we go. Okay. So this is a utility that was recommended by, the name in the chat is the Great Daft Git 69. So that's his alias in the Twitch chat. And last week he recommended this Chris Titus utility. And I, after testing this for a minute today, I remember this utility. I remember talking about it. So here's the command, and you execute it from PowerShell. And you have to run PowerShell as an administrator. And I'm going to show that, and then I'm just going to quickly go over everything. So I'm copying that command line. And now if you right click on the start menu, at least in Windows 10, you should have a Windows PowerShell, and you want to run it as an admin. And that's what I've just executed. And now I right clicked and entered the command, and it is automatically downloading and running the utility. Now the utility is to install an unbelievable amount of programs. And I mean, if you want .NET, any browser, Firefox, communication software. I noticed Adobe Acrobat Reader, which I like that. So there's a couple, you can check a whole bunch of programs here. CPU-Z. Take a look. This is kind of cool. Then we got tweaks. So you can, put a dark theme on, run shut up, create, and notice it's already checked create a restore point. And then you can check all these disable location tracking, home group, storage sense, disable hibernation, disable game DVR. Lots of tweaks. Take a look at this. Then config. There's lots of setting up auto login, reset Windows Update. There's updates. How do you want to, default out of the box or security recommend it? And then here's a micro win, which is remove telemetry and tracking, add ability to use local accounts, remove Wi-Fi requirement to finish install. You got lots and lots of different tweaks here, and you can upgrade, uninstall. Let's see, and you have to check the programs you want, and you can actually uninstall them. Why don't we try uninstalling? No, I don't want to uninstall Firefox because I'm in the middle of using it. I'm trying to think here. You have Tor browser. Why don't we install Tor browser? Let's see what happens. So I just clicked install. Now install the selected. Let's see what happens. Or get installed or install. Let's see. Install, upgrade, selected. Oh, it's already running. Let me output file, application to, you know what? Play with this, because you'll see some of the things here that it's using the Wingate utility. It's using Chocolatey, which is an online place to be able to get software and have it installed. I've used that with some PowerShell scripts with Synchro in managing a couple apps that I needed to get installed quickly. So this is going to require a little work, and play with it, see if you like it. I know I talked about this before once, so let me know how you like it. All right. Another recommendation from Brand X86 on YouTube made a comment to take a look at Nitro Pro as an alternative to Adobe Pro. Nitro Pro, it's comprehensive PDF editing and management software developed by Nitro Software. It allows users to create, edit, convert, sign, and share PDFs. So it's a lot like PDF Pro, but one of the things I was disappointed with, when you take a look at the price for the Nitro PDF Pro, it's $179.99. I mean, that's just as bad as Adobe, or you got the well, that's a one-time purchase. So I guess, if you think of that, it's like 1 year of Adobe. So that's not crazy. But it's something worth looking at. Nitro Pro used to be cheaper, and it was a great recommendation. Does it do everything? I don't know. And they have business pricing and individuals and teams. Take a look at it. It might be an alternative for your clients or yourself for that alternative to Adobe. So now, while we're talking about Adobe, this email is from Kate, and it's funny. So let me get out of this. Give me a second here as we move around. Okay. So now let me move this over. Okay. So after my COVID booster, I opened up the PDF recommended by the health authority here regarding aftercare. Kate is in Canada. After 30 seconds or so, I had the AI chatbot thing in the free version of Adobe Reader open and try to tell me all I could do. I guess like Adobe Clippy. If anybody remembers Clippy, that's great. Here's how to turn it off in Windows. Open Adobe Reader, go to Menu, Preferences, Generative AI, clear the checkbox for Enable, click OK. And she provided me with pictures. I guess I feel a little bit like the, hey, you get off my lawn guy. I would love to think I'm not the only one. So anybody else, that if you want to get rid of that, you can. And what is the official position of Adobe? And what do they, what is the AI assistant? And it's, you can ask questions in documents and receive easy to understand answers with attribution. AI assistant can help generate a document summary and suggested questions based on the document to help customers explore, comprehend content, and gain insights more effectively. Using responses from AI assistant, customers can consume info and create impactful content based on their document faster than ever. Draft and share content for emails, presentations, meeting notes, research, summaries, and more. So this is the new thing now with the AI being added, like Copilot from Microsoft. I would love to hear from anybody that is into these application AI add-ons. And are you using it? Are you finding it productive? Send me some examples and some reviews. And I would love to do a show dedicated to, AI. We're going to be getting it on the iPhone soon. I know Apple's going to be integrating it if they haven't already. I haven't logged onto my MacBook in a week or so. It's coming. It's here. I remember a couple weeks ago, I read the report from the next Windows 11 massive update is going to be more AI centric. We're built into the operating system. So let's see. Email me, MikeTechShow@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and that's Michael Smith MTS on YouTube. And there you have the videos. Please click subscribe and hit like if you like the video. I post the videos immediately upon recording. I post the video up. Remember, you can always get all the show notes and anything, including the donation link. If you can and you can make a donation, hit that. And every little bit helps. I would appreciate it. And that, of course, is MikeTechShow.com, which will automatically flip you to MikeNation.net. They're both the same site. That is it for May 2nd, 2024. And I will see everybody next Thursday, same time, same channel. Bye-bye.